Following the shooting of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin, who was shot in the back 7 times by a cop and is now paralyzed from the waist down, there have been protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And at last night's protest, 2 people were killed and 1 seriously injured by a 17-year-old with a rifle who was working with an armed white militia that was working with the cops. Now, there's a lot here. I'm going to go into it. The 17-year-old has been arrested, as I will get to in a minute here. But this story's heavy. There's no doubt about it. Now, I'm going to say up front, I can't show you that there's actual video of the shooting. I simply can't show you it. If I showed you it, the video would be pulled from YouTube. I wouldn't even be able to discuss this news story. So you're going to have to find that yourself if you really want to see it. But I can't show it to you. But I will give you the details on what exactly went down. So first here from the Independent, 17-year-old arrested for murder and fleeing state after Kenosha shootings that left 2 dead. Kyle Rittenhouse of Antioch, Illinois, was charged with first-degree murder. So let me give you some of the details here that led up to it. I first, want to point out here that he's from Illinois. He's not from Wisconsin. He drove from Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin to be a part of this protest and carry around a rifle and end up killing 2 people. Let me give you some of the details here. A white gunman shot 1 person in the head and 1 person in the chest around 11:45 p.m. on Tuesday evening during protests that launched in response to the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Video footage from the event showed a gunman in the middle of the street brandishing a semi-automatic rifle before firing off the shots that hit multiple people. Eyewitnesses then said the gunman was allowed to walk past police without getting arrested. In one video, protesters are heard shouting at police that he was the gunman as the officer drove by to attend to the victims. As video footage circulated about the shooting, social media users identified the potential suspect as Rittenhouse. His Facebook page is no longer available to the public, but previous posts allegedly included Blue Lives Matter and pro-police statements. One image circulating of Rittenhouse showed the juvenile carrying a rifle similar to what was allegedly used during the shooting. So I'm going to show you some images here of Kyle Rittenhouse. This is the shooter. So you see him here, the green shirt, the orange bag beside him. I'm pointing this out because I have some videos to show you later where we're going to see him. But more images here. This is a kid. A kid inspired by the cops. Now, this video, so there were several live streams that were following all these events, so all of these clips are cut out of those various live streams. It's impossible to give the original person credit because people are just clipping these videos. I have no idea who actually shot this originally, but let me show you here. This is just 11 seconds long. Listen closely to, this is going to be Kyle Rittenhouse, the shooter. Here he is. Listen closely to what he says as he runs by. So he says on camera, "I shot somebody." He's talking to someone on the phone. Don't know who it is. I think there was some speculation. I'm not sure if it was confirmed that he was talking to cops at the time, so maybe he was admitting to it. But regardless, on the phone saying he shot somebody. He's now been arrested, so yes, he shot somebody. And I'm showing you all this because this is apparently what happened before the shooting. So cell phone video shows Kenosha, Wisconsin police officers in a military vehicle telling armed white militia members they, quote, appreciate them being there and giving them bottled water, while in the background, cops can be heard ordering protesters to disperse. So when this was posted, I don't believe Rebecca Kavanaugh here realized that the shooter was in the video. So I'm going to play the video. I'm going to pause it at a point where it's obvious, and then I'll play the rest. So I'm just going to pause it there to show you. This is clearly Kyle Rittenhouse. You see the orange bag, the green shirt, exact same outfit you see here. Same person. Let me continue this and watch where he goes and the discussion he has. So this is just disgusting. It's almost like watching, rock stars with their fans. You have the cops here as the rock stars, talking with their fans. Oh, here, we have some bottled water for you. Yeah, don't worry, we appreciate you being here, as is literally said in the video by the cops. We appreciate you being here. A white militia, an armed white militia. And you see, at one point in this video, Kyle Rittenhouse walks over for a bottle of water from one of the cops and eventually gets one from this guy here. And they drive off and go toward the protesters. So this isn't the end of it, by the way. As you see here, Omar Jimenez tweeted out, in an almost snake-like fashion, law enforcement pushed forward on their line and moved people out of the park in front of the Kenosha County Courthouse. They've declared it an unlawful assembly. So I'm not going to, I'll just scroll through this for you so you see what he's saying. You see here the cops pushing towards. Now, there's a reason they're doing this. And there's a reason I'm showing you this. Because in this next video, here a militia member says cops told them they would push the protesters towards them because they knew they could handle them. Watch this.
Trap this goddamn bullshit business in, I get it. But you left the city open.
Well, do you know what the cops told us today? They were like, we're going to push them down by you because you can deal with them. And then we're going to leave.
See?
And then as soon as they said
the
that.
second the shots fired, I had to tell like 6 people it wasn't fucking you guys.
Yeah. So like we fucking, as soon as they said that bullshit to us, people hurt. Oh, you're hurt. You need.
There you go. Now, yes, I'll address in a minute why the hell is a white militia member talking to Black Lives Matter? How's this conversation going on? Yes, I was surprised by that too. I'll get to more of that in a second. But this is what went on. The cops told them that they would push the protesters towards this white militia, this guy being part of the white militia. The cops told them that, and then the cops would just leave. And that's exactly what you saw happen. And that's also what led to that teen, Kyle Rittenhouse, killing those two people. Now, why is this man talking with them? Well, it appears there are some people here that in this militia that maybe weren't fully aware of what was actually happening till it was happening. So some responses here on Twitter to this video. There's a lot more of this happening than you see on the news. A lot of these young militia guys are just now realizing they've been duped into protecting the same owner class who've been holding them down, that they and Black Lives Matter ultimately have the same enemies. Someone else here saying a lot of these militia people are descendants of some pretty hardcore unionizers, etc. They're radicalized because they know the system around them is busted, same as us. But the most left-wing news they have access to is Breitbart. So communication like this can really open eyes. So a lot of these people are just stuck in their, right-wing bubbles and aren't exactly clued into what is really going on until it happens and their eyes are opened. Now, of course, that isn't the majority of them, as is also pointed out here by the same guy. Obviously, way more of them are just disaffected white supremacists looking to shoot people of color and leftists without consequences. So that's the reality for most of the people in that militia. But at least one guy here, I guess, waking up to the reality of what was going on. Now, just one last thing I want to hit on here. This tweet sums it up well. Nick says here, Jacob Blake got shot 7 times in the back for breaking up a fight. A little racist white kid guns down 3 people, killing 1, now 2, with dozens of witnesses and walks through a police line unharmed in the same goddamn city. It's all in front of you. I covered the Jacob Blake shooting. Look how the cops treated him. Somebody who was unarmed, not doing anything wrong, just broke up a fight, was going to drive his kids home, then shot in the back 7 times by a cop. Yet here, you have a white militia carrying rifles around, including a 17-year-old, offering them bottles of water, discussing how they're going to work with them, thanking them for being there, and then that kid ends up killing 2 people and walks through the police line and drives off. My only hope is that stories like this wake more and more people up. I mean, if the George Floyd stuff didn't already wake you up, which I'm not sure how it couldn't have, But if somehow you've been living under a rock and we're still blind to the reality of what many of these police forces are about, maybe now your mind is open.